Hi planner friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel and I love all things stationery. Today I'm going to be talking about how I've set up my 2023 Hobonichi Weeks. My Hobonichi Weeks is my everyday carry. This is the planner that comes everywhere with me, no matter where I am in the house, if I'm traveling, wherever I am out of the house. Like, this planner is always by my side. And I have the Hobonichi Weeks Mega, which has, I think, almost 220 notes pages. So it's like I'm carrying around a planner and a notebook, which makes it all the more functional for me. And so I wanted to talk about how I set up this planner for 2023. I moved in, this is a December start planner, and so I moved in the first week of December. And so I've been using it a bit, but it took me a couple weeks to finish my setup. And now that it's all done, I really wanted to film a video showing you how I set everything up in this planner before I start really using any of the trackers or collections. So if that sounds good, let's jump right in. So I've got my Hobonichi Weeks in this Vanderspec cover. This is in the Janet Leather Brown. It's so beautiful. I have wanted this cover for so long, and I'm so happy that it is in my collection now. And this, I should say, is the standard codex. There's also a mega codex that's a little bit wider, made for the Hobonichi Weeks Mega. But the Mega fits in the standard codex really well. Although I should say I have the Sneaker Weeks, which has a much thinner cover and profile, and so I'm sure that's affecting how well it fits, but I really like how snug it is in here, and it doesn't feel too snug. My 2022 Weeks, which was as chunky as the planner will get for me, fit in here like perfectly fine, so I'm not really worried it'll get too tight throughout the year. And then the only customizations I got, because if you know the Vanderspec brand, I think they're a company in the Netherlands. I'll link them down below. But you can customize different aspects of your planner cover. And so I got this is the chunky strap, the A4 strap. And I love the way this looks. And then I also got the Nomad pocket layout. I don't really keep much in these pockets. Sometimes I'll keep stickers or like a stencil. Here I have this sticker. I picked this up from a local stationery store here. I live in Virginia, so this is in Alexandria, and it's from the Taylor Swift song, and I just thought this was so cute. Yeah, I don't really decorate. I'll put stuff in here as I come across it, or like as I'm playing with different stationery and I'm, like, oh, this came in the Sterling Ink sub box and I thought it was really cute, and now this will probably live here for several months. And I'll note here before I get into the setup, like, I'm very much a functional planner. Like, functional planning is a priority for me, but I love stationery, so there's you'll see stickers and stuff in here. I do decorate my planner a bit. And I'll try to mention where stuff is from, but if you have questions about what shops anything is from, please feel free to leave those down in the comments, and I'll make sure to let you know. Most of this stuff is from, I'd say, Sterling Ink. I subscribe to her monthly subscription box, and I love her stuff. It's just so beautiful. I have a lot of stuff from Virgo and Paper Bits Co., Coffee Monsters Co. So I've got, it's pretty minimal. I haven't done much here. So in the past, so this is the first like annual layout in the Hobonichi Weeks. And the way I'm planning to use this in 2023 is I have marked off with one of the zig dot markers, work holidays. And then I'm also planning to use different zig dot markers in like different colors to mark off my pay dates and my husband's pay dates. And so that's how I've used this layout in the past, and it's a good reference, to have at the front of my planner, but it's not really something I use all that much. And then next we have this sort of like year on 2 pages spread that comes with the Hobonichi Weeks. And like many people, I use this to track like health and fitness related stuff. So my plan for the next year is to record my weight once a month up here, and then count up the number of days I did some exercise or worked out or stretched. I don't know. I haven't really figured it out, but I'm going to do some like summary of the month here. And then my plan down here is I'm using this key to know what workouts I did each day, and then also using one of the zig markers, the zig dot markers, to indicate the days I closed the rings on my Apple Watch. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this filled out. I plan to start using this in December, but I haven't been doing much like exercise outside of running after my son and like running around getting ready for Christmas. And so I'm hoping, this will be much more filled out come January. But that's how I'm planning to use this layout. And then next we go into the monthlies. So the monthlies I use, and this is my personal planner. So this has mostly personal events, birthdays, holidays, travel, and stuff like that. I do put in some like big work events, like if I'm traveling for a conference, or I had this conference was in DC and I knew it was going to take up a couple days, including a weekend date. So I wanted to just like have that on my radar in my personal planner, even though I don't put a ton of work stuff in here. And so, as I set up the planner, I put down, appointments, holidays, birthdays, and then I moved into this the beginning of December, like I think I mentioned. And so this December looks a bit more filled out. And so I'm, using this I started trying to track when I refilled my fountain pens, days I'm in the office, marked off days I'm going to be on vacation or taking vacation days, notes about when daycare is closed, stuff like that. So, again, just like these are things that I think of when I think of personal planning. And the month just gives me like a monthly overview of everything that's going on in our lives. And then I'm experimenting with also having this like currently collection down at the bottom where I'm putting, what I'm currently listening to this month, watching and reading. I thought it'd be fun to see sort of like what my media and reading consumption was each month, but I'm not sure that this is enough room, but I don't know if it matters. Like I think it'll be fun to see this throughout the months. And so, yeah, I set up most of the months in advance, putting down just some month stickers. These are from Virgo and Paper, marking down travel and birthdays, anniversaries. This is what setting up a planner means to me. I love setting up, especially the monthlies, just so I have, I have what I know is scheduled for 2023 already written down, and then having them set up for me means like as stuff gets scheduled, I don't think twice about writing stuff in and jotting stuff down on the monthly pages. Okay, and then I don't do much setup for my weeklies, and I use my weeklies. I talked about this. I have a flip through of my 2022 weeks, which again, I'll link down in the description if I haven't mentioned that. And I'm using my 2023 weeks in a very similar way relative to how I used it last year. And so I don't do much setup in terms of my weekly pages. My weekly pages have, appointments. Sometimes I'll jot down reminders of stuff that are, week specific or day specific, but I don't really do anything to like set up my weekly layouts at the beginning of the year. These are more so like I use them on an ongoing basis, and then I will, fill things out more as that week is approaching. So usually on a Sunday night, I will sit down and migrate all of the stuff I didn't get done one week over to the next week. I'll also write down any other, personal task I need to get done, slot in anything I hadn't written down here. And so I will do like some planning for the week on the Sunday night before, but I use the weekly layouts like as I need to use them. And so the rest of my setup consist of setting up annual trackers and collections in my notes pages. So the notes pages starts with this page that I think is supposed to be used as an index. I want to be an indexer, but I have not been very good at indexing in the past, and so I've given up trying to index because I don't know, it's not something that I'm very good or consistent with. And so right now I'm planning to use this page to put, I thought it would be fun to swatch all of the different inks. I've gotten really into fountain pens recently, and so I thought it would be fun to swatch all the different inks I get and use in this planner, and swatch any pens I'm using. Really, like at the end of the year, I could see like what are the inks and pens you use in this planner, and I thought it might be a fun, like pretty way to use this page. And so moving into the like collections and trackers I've set up for 2023, I've started with this page, which will have my 2023 goals. I haven't written them in yet because I haven't really finalized what my goals will be. I've been journaling about that, but I'm planning to write that in and my word of the year within the next week or so, and then that'll stay here, and I'll probably add a tabs just so I can reference it and have that here on paper. I love, I keep these planners. These are very much like an archive of the year for me, and so I love having this here so I can look back and see like, what were my intentions for the year ahead. And then the next collection I set up is reading goals and intentions, and I have 2 reading collections. So I've got on the next page 2023 books read. And so here I'm planning to list down all the books I read or listen to. I've gotten really into audiobooks lately, and they're just a game changer because life is very busy right now, but being able to listen to books while I do laundry or walk the dog has helped me like tackle my reading list so much faster. But anyway, reading is a big priority for me in 2023. I'm really hoping to like reignite my love for reading. As I think I mentioned early in this video, I just finished my PhD, and so I was in graduate school for 6 years, and kind of killed my love of reading for leisure and for fun. And I'm really trying to find that love of reading again, and so I want to make that a priority for 2023. And so my plan here was to write, like be more specific about what my reading goals are, what are the authors I want to be reading, like what are my intentions with reading this year. And then as I think about books that I know I really want to read in 2023, like books that I have been on my list forever, people talk about, like for example, Anne Lamont's Bird by Bird. It's a book about writing. I research and write about public policy. I really want to work on my writing and develop my writing as a craft. And like, this is going to be the year I finally read that book. I have heard many people talk about how great that book is for years. And so that's definitely one I want to put here and really flag for myself that like, this is a book you should prioritize. And so that's how I'm planning to use this collection. And like I said, here is where I'll actually record the books I read in 2023. And I haven't made a specific goal yet in terms of how many books I'm planning to read. I want to be ambitious, but I also want to be realistic so I can like achieve the goal. So I'm still debating for myself. And then here I was planning to record the podcast I listened to. I just like, I don't know, I like record keeping. I like keeping track of the media I'm consuming. And also this helps me remember the media I consume. I often am like, oh, I listened to this really interesting podcast about so-and-so or this topic. And I like it helps to have, like record that in a paper way for me. And then this is a reading log, so you can see reading is really a priority for me this year. And I think originally I was intending to set up the reading log. I should say I am pulling out a standard Hobonichi weeks, which I had also set up for 2023 because I was thinking that I might use the standard size weeks because it's so cute and thin and portable. And then I quickly came to my senses once I set up all my collections and realized I only had like 30 pages left, that it would never work for me. But the way I am intending to use this is I thought it would be fun to actually like have this set up as like an annual tracker almost, so I can see over the year how many days I read. And my hope is that this will be very filled out, and there will be very few days where I didn't do any reading. And so that's how I'm planning to set up this page. Also, I should say, like, I set up this entire planner. And so this setup has taken me longer because I'm basically replicating everything I did in here. But once I set up all of my collections, and I genuinely don't know what I was thinking. I realized, like, I was at page 43 and realized I would only have like 30 pages of notes pages left. And that's just not going to work for me. Like, I know that I should have had better sense, but it was so cute, and I just love this cover so much. I really wanted to pick one up, but yeah, I ended up just like coming to my senses and moving into the Hobonichi Weeks Mega. I'm not really sure what I'm planning to do with this. If you have any ideas for what to do with an extra Hobonichi Weeks, please, I would love if you left them down in the comments. I don't want this to go to waste, but I also don't want to like drive myself crazy and try to figure out like a niche way to have another planner because I know I'm never going to keep up with it. Okay, so getting back to here, in terms of collections I've set up, I've also got TV shows I've watched and movies watched. My husband and I love to watch movies together. And so I just love keeping a list of all the movies we watched over the year. It just, like stuff like this just brings me back to those specific like days we were watching those movies, or the nights or like date nights we went out to see a movie. And so I just love, this type of like memory keeping, record keeping, and also keeping track of the shows we loved and watched, in the year. And then next I've set up a wish list, and I've got sort of 4 different sections, and I might need more room for myself. We'll see, but I've got a section for myself, things I want to buy for me, for my husband, for my son, and for the house. I used to have like a gift ideas collection, but I only ever wrote stuff down for my son and my husband, and so I decided to just combine them into one big wish list of stuff that I want to pick up for any of us or for the house. And I should say one of my goals is to be on a low spend for like planner and stationery and personal stuff in 2023. And so I think like a part of creating this wish list where I only have half a page for myself was informed by my desire to buy less things in 2023. And then I've got a 2023 bucket list. So for me, a bucket list is different than goals. Goals are more so where I lay out the things I want to accomplish personally or professionally. And a bucket list is like just the fun stuff I want to get done. Like I know we want to take a trip up to New York to see my family. I want to make sure to write that down. I think we would love to try to take potentially a trip to California to see my husband's family. And so really just like, you know, all of the fun stuff that we would love to do and would love to check off our bucket list in 2023 will go here. And then I have a someday maybe list. And for me, that is, I guess it's a mixture of like a bucket list and goals. I usually write down here like, oh, one day I would love to take a water painting class, and I'll write that down. Or, you know, one day I would really love to actually dedicate the time to learn to speak Spanish, and I will write down something like that here. And then I will turn to this at the end of the year as I'm thinking about goal planning for the upcoming year, and try to think about like, okay, well, what stuff from my someday maybe list is still resonating with me, and what might I want to actually try to get done in the year ahead. And so I like having something like this just like capture, you know, think of them as like dreams or big picture goals that aren't necessarily like things that I want to or could even accomplish in the short term. Like learning Spanish is something I've wanted to do for a long time. My family is Puerto Rican and Cuban, but I didn't learn to speak Spanish growing up. But I am also realistic, and I know that I am not going to have the time to dedicate to something like that in the next year. And so I put down like long-term goals and dreams in my someday maybe list. And then the last two collections I've got here are an adulting log and a parenting log. I think I set both of these up last year and did not touch either of them, but I'm hoping to use these more in 2023. And so how I'm planning to use the adulting log is, I think I'm going to try to use the Alistair method, Alistair. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I've seen Caitlin Gray on her channel has used that sort of way to track tasks in her bullet journal. And so I was watching one of her videos and getting an inspiration. And so I think I'm going to do something like that, where I list down all of the things that I need to get done to be a functioning, healthy adult. So like get an annual checkup, get my eyes checked out. I want to go see a physical therapist for some pain I've been having since my son was born. So all of the stuff like that, I will put down here, and then I want to put down the months of the year up here, and then just like put a dot whenever I get those done. And then like add to it as the year goes along. So that's how I'm planning to use the adulting log. We'll see how it evolves, but I do want to prioritize my physical and mental health and just like feeling like I'm more on top of stuff this year. And so I'm planning to try to keep track of that here. So the parenting log, I think I'm planning to keep track of stuff that my husband and I need to do for my son. Like we want to spruce up his bedroom a bit. I think I'm gonna like write down tasks like that. Just like the stuff that we eventually want to get done for him, but it's not like super time sensitive, if that makes sense. And then the last bit of, I think this is the second to last. I have one last tracker. Yeah. So the last, I'll start here. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. So I've set up on 2 pages per month, basically like a monthly plan that is very similar to the monthly plan in the Cultivate What Matters power sheets. I've used those in the past, but the company was sold to another company that does not align with my values. And so I've decided to just sort of recreate that monthly plan in my Hobonichi weeks. And so I've got here, again, 2 pages per month. And this is very similar to what that monthly plan in the power sheets looks like. But basically I've got some monthly action items that line up with my goals, weekly action items that line up with my goals. And then I've got my monthly habit tracker. And I've set this up for the 12 months that I'll be in this planner. I haven't set up the actual like monthly plan, but I've allocated the pages that I'll need to do that for each month here. And then the last thing I've set up in this planner for 2023 is in these back pages. So this is the English version of the weeks, which is exciting because this is the first year they've released a Hobonichi weeks with the like text in English. And so I was thinking about how I could use, because it comes with some trackers in the back. I don't really know how I'll use these favorites, and I started with just using them for pen tests, and so maybe I'll use this. This can be my pen test page. We'll see. I'm also not sure how I'll use my 100. I could use this as a reading log now that I'm thinking about it, but I've set up the other one, so I don't know. Maybe I could keep track of, you know what, I'm gonna write that down. I could keep track of journal articles I read, because I need to stay on top of some literatures that relevant to my research areas. And so I'm trying to make it a goal of reading 2 to 3 journal articles a week. And so maybe I can keep track of that here. Goal 2 articles per week. Okay. This has been a fun generative video. And then here is my favorite things. I'm not sure how I'm gonna use this. Maybe I will just put like my favorite things this year. That could be fun. But the last tracker that I know I'm going to be using in this planner is this one, which is, I think it says 365 days checkoff sheet. And maybe this will be just a no spend. I don't know. As I'm saying this, I clearly haven't worked it out. And so I was originally thinking of it as no credit card spend because I put fun stuff on my credit card. That's a better way to say it. I put fun stuff on my credit card, and so I'm trying to limit those purchases because we're trying to save some money for a house, pay down some debt. And so I think I'm gonna use that for this. I'm gonna use this tracker for that purpose. But maybe I might rename this as just like a no spend tracker, because I'm really trying to limit my spending on like personal, what's the word I'm looking for? Like just things that I don't need, essentially. And so I'm gonna figure out a different label for this, but this is gonna be a tracker that I use to track, to help me track some of my financial goals for myself personally. It was a very, very long-winded way of saying that, so thank you for sticking with me. So yeah, that is how I've got my Hobonichi weeks set up for 2023. If you're using Hobonichi weeks for 2023, I'd love to hear about how you're planning to use it in the comments down below. And if you have any questions about my setup or anything I'm using in this setup, please feel free to leave that down in the comments below. I'm really excited about this planner and moving into a new planner for 2023. And I feel like I've really figured out, I've hit my sweet spot with the Hobonichi weeks. Like, I know how it works for me. I'm really excited about this setup. I think that this will be really, really helpful for me as I try to accomplish some goals over the year. And as I also try to, memory keep and try to record everything that we do and everything that we accomplish. I think this will be a really great tool for all of those purposes. So yeah, if you have stuck with me this long, this is another long chatty video. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to learning more about how you all use your Hobonichi weeks. And yeah, I will catch you all soon. Bye now.